Good morning and good afternoon, depending on where you are. Thanks for joining today for Why Choose BoldTrail. My name is Natalie Urianza, and I'm going to be walking you through what is BoldTrail. So let's go ahead and get started. A couple things to share. I wanted to start with this slide because you'll probably associate a few different names with BoldTrail. I'm sure you've heard of KV Core. You may have heard of Conversion, Inside Real Estate. So Inside Real Estate is the parent company, and all of these little logos here you can see are logos that we've brought into the fold. Over the years, we've just really tried to create a product that is going to really holistically take care of your business. So we know that agents use many tech platforms and tech solutions, and we believe that you should be able to access all of the tools you need for your business in one login. And so over the years, we've just collected what we believe are the best of the best and things that, are the most functional and work the best and make the most sense for you and your business. And we brought them all together under one roof. We have solutions for CMA and presentations, listing and brand promotion, lead generation, marketing, lead nurturing, and kind of everything in between from beginning to the end of the consumer journey. I do get a lot of questions about features, and I'm not going to do a feature deep dive today. So what we're going to do is, we've got listed out a bunch of features that I frequently get asked about. And the answer is yes, we have all of these features and functions in our platform. But what I am going to spend time on today is I want you to understand really why we create tech the way that we do, how we understand your business, and how we try to solve your problems for you by giving you the right tech solutions. So do you have a website? Yes. Is it connected to the MLS? Yes. We have AI, we've got marketing, we have listing management, you've got analytics that can help drive your actions and productivity. You've got transaction management. You have a marketplace, which I'll dive into a little bit more later on. And there's a mobile app as well. Now, if you've used KV Core in the past and you've migrated over, anyone who is here is likely migrated over to BoldTrail today. Whether you've logged in or not, there's a few features that are a little bit different. I just want to highlight those really quickly. So this first one we're looking at is the navigation bar at the top. We've created this Omni search experience. So this changes the way that you're able to navigate in your platform. Historically, this was used to search for leads, but with our modern technology, we've revamped it, and you can see it also gives you the ability to search for tools that are related to actions you need to complete. It'll also allow you to search for resources, and you can also initiate actions right from the Omni search bar. So it just makes things a whole lot easier for you. You don't have to click into different menu items and try to find what you're looking for. You can actually locate it all from Omni search. And then we have the enhanced mobile app. We've been really excited to work on the mobile app. Here are some things we've enhanced as of today, and we have a lot more really slick features coming out in the future, and I'll talk about that a little bit later on. But when you download the app now, you're going to see that it's faster and smarter than it was before. We've streamlined the navigation. We've created clearer task actions for you to be able to log in and know exactly what you need to do. We've made it easier to complete those. And then we've also updated the UI, the user experience and interface. The custom pages editor, this is something I'm really excited about. I know everybody wants to personalize their websites, and it used to be really more of an out of the box kind of solution, and you could change color settings and backgrounds and things like that. But if you had custom content, that you wanted, you either needed to know how to do code or you had to hire somebody who could code for you. Well, we had enough of these requests that at one point we were creating custom pages for you. And then we said, you know what? We should just give this ability to all of the agents. So Pages Editor was born. And what it is we've created these templates that you can use as a base, and then you can go and make edits really easily. You've got inline editing. You can drag and drop features. You can easily delete and change these pages, or you can start from scratch, all without coding. So it makes it really easy for you to personalize your website and convey your brand the way that you want to your leads. And it also makes it easy for you to get more and more relevant content on your website and differentiate your website from other agents, so that you can really target your market in the right way, increase conversations, increase lead engagement, and increase website traffic back to your site, which is the ultimate goal. And there's a lot more as well. We've also got, with BoldTrail, we've modernized the user interface and we're trying to streamline the experience as much as possible to make the system as easy to use for you. You're already busy doing all of these other things. You don't need to come in and learn a really complicated platform. So we've just made it a lot easier for you to know exactly what you need to focus on when you're in the platform. We've created this unified call and task management system. We also solved for the listing deduplication, where now we'll automatically dedupe listings if you've got multiple MLSs that you board with. And it just makes the user experience so much easier for you and for your leads. Okay, let's dive into some of our why. I love this quote. You don't automate to get rid of the human, you automate to amplify the human. I also like to throw AI in here because this is something where I know agents go, oh, I don't like automation, I don't like AI. Maybe we're scared to use it, maybe we don't like the way it sounds. But the whole idea is to automate what you can and sort of create shortcuts for you so that you can still be providing the best service, the best content, but focusing your time and effort on things like human interaction. Okay, so let's talk about this for just a minute. In working with real estate agents and brokers for as long as we have, we've sort of gathered these four main points as the biggest challenges agents run into for increasing their GCI. They always kind of come back to these four buckets. It's lead generation, lead follow-up, lead conversion, and client management. So this is what we've built our tech platform around. These are the problems everybody's running into across the board. It doesn't matter if you're new or tenured or if you're a broker or agent. We know that these are the issues you're running up against. And so we solve these problems using our technology. And we're going to talk about those, but I also wanted to talk about this for just a second, the battle for the consumer. So there's kind of two things to think about here. You've got this consumer demand problem where you have companies like Amazon and Google who have changed the way that consumers are shopping, and they've personalized the experience in a different way that changes the way consumers expect to be treated, I guess. They demand speed. You can pretty much overnight almost anything you need. Otherwise, it's a 2-day shipping. There's complete transparency. You've got reviews. There's the value that is added. And the way these companies have done business has really just kind of changed the way you have to treat customers. Even though it's a different experience, online shopping or getting information is different than a real estate experience. But because consumers are used to these online experiences, they really want the same thing from you as a real estate agent. And then there's this big dog competition. The gloves are off. It's companies like Zillow, Rocket Mortgage, all these big portals. And the reason there's this competition is because, I mean, they're using your listings to generate leads, and they're pretty aggressively pursuing your consumers. They're going after the same leads that you're going after. So there is this competition. There is this battle for the consumer. And the way you're going to win that, we're going to dive into that in just a second. But the good news here is these stats you're seeing on screen right now they're stats we got from NAR. And what it tells us is that this is how consumers are interacting with agents and agent websites versus portal websites. So 90% of consumers started their journey online. 85% of those, so only 5% different there, 85% visited an agent website during their homeowner journey, and 75% registered for a listing alert or property alert on an agent website. Okay. We also know that today's consumer really wants a personalized experience. I talked about this a little bit with the, Amazon, Google kind of thing. But if you look at all of these apps here, I would be willing to bet you probably have at least 5 of these on your phone or tablet. And if you think about the consumer experience that you have when you go on, Amazon Prime, or, whether it's ordering goods or whether it's their TV series and shows, they're able to serve up recommendations that are really tailored to you based off of your behavior. Same thing with Instagram. It will show you videos that it thinks you're going to interact with. Spotify, it's going to show songs that are similar to songs you've listened to. And so if you think about how to translate that into your website, you actually have all the tools you need to be able to do that in the platform. You've got analytics that tell you what users are engaging with. And then you've got, like the pages editor that allows you to create custom content that you can serve up and get in front of people, whether it's through email, on social media. And it's going to drive engagement because you're serving up information based on user behavior, if that makes sense. Then we have this foundation for growth. This is really the 3 areas that we believe are going to help you solve the problems we just identified. So what do I mean by be found, be connected, be involved? Be found, this is how you're getting found by new leads, essentially. So how are you getting in front of people who don't know you? How are you generating new leads? How are you filling your pipeline? Be connected is when you get new leads in your system, how are you reaching out and connecting with them, making sure you're getting a conversation, making sure that you're the person that they're connecting with. And then being involved, this is sort of really holistic because, like I said, we think about things not as just one slice of the pie at a time, but from end to end. So how can you stay involved throughout the customer's life cycle and ensure that you're getting repeat and referral business, and also so that you're, capturing their attention when you get somebody who registered as a lead and they weren't ready at the time, but maybe 6 months later they're ready. Let's dive in a little bit more to be found. A big part of this is you have an online store, your website, and really your responsibility here is to drive traffic to your website. And that can be from any of these different places, right? The idea is the more people you get on your website, the more activity you can see, the more behavioral insights you can see, and the more you can serve up that tailored experience. And then the lead funnel, this is, I really like this slide because I like how it breaks it down. We've got, this is really what matters with your pipeline. if you have, let's say, 10 leads and 10 of them drop into your funnel, out of those 10 leads, you're probably going to be able to connect with 5 of them in one way or another, either text, email, phone call. And then out of those 5, you're probably getting a couple people who say, oh yeah, I may actually buy or sell. I think I'm going to do that. And then out of those 2, you might have 1 or maybe even less than 1, because 10's a pretty small number, who say, I am going to transact in the next 3 to 6 months. So you can see not everybody's going to do that right then. 10 is not enough leads. You really need to be generating probably more like 40 or more a month, especially if we consider cuts in half, cuts in half, cuts in half. So how are you adding more leads to your funnel? Because more leads equals more transactions. In order to do that, you really have to be spending time and you have to be spending money. And I can guarantee you're all doing a little bit of this right now. Whether you're doing the right mix of it or not, I'm not sure. You're the only one who knows that. But, you've got, let's take, for example, you've got Facebook on time and you have Facebook on money. And the reason that's important is because when you're posting to your Facebook page, I know you all post listings, right? So if you get a new listing and you go post that listing page from your BoldTrail to your Facebook, you are getting in front of people who are friends with you, who follow you. So likely your sphere, right? Friends, family, acquaintances, and past clients. But on the money aspect, if you take that listing and you boost it and you do a meta ad, you're getting in front of people who don't know you. So you're actually broadening your audience. When you spend money, ads get you in front of new people. Time generally gets you in front of people you already know, which isn't a bad thing. You need to be able to do that too, right? And there are certain things you can do, certain tools you can use in BoldTrail. In fact, let me just show you this playbook. There's this playbook called the Promote a Listing Playbook. And what's cool about this is it uses all these different communication channels to get in front of leads in your platform. And it also lets you promote your listing with the agents in your network. So you can actually share your listing and say, hey, share this with anybody who meets the criteria for this home. I have this new listing. It can help you find a buyer faster, gets more eyes on your listing, it gets it in front of more people. And then this playbook also brings together things like squeeze pages that you can go and post to generate leads from your sphere. It allows you to do a property boost ad, which is a meta ad. It's really low cost, and that gets you in front of new people. And then it also brings together these nurture and engagement components where it can turn on a smart campaign that's specifically designed for these kind of leads, so that you're using automation and you don't have to go do all of these manual things to promote a listing, generate leads, and nurture the contacts. And then you also have things like our lead engine page. You've got squeeze pages, you have landing pages, and these are essentially single page websites that you can use to capture leads. And with the landing page, you can sort of customize that and use it for whatever use case you have. If you have a niche, it's easy for you to do some niche marketing. If you use a squeeze page, that's going to be listing-based marketing, capturing people who are interested in looking at properties on your website. But there are pitch sheets. You can do call and text capture. There's a lot of free tools that you can use. Excuse me, I'm getting a dry throat here. And then we also have marketplace solutions. And the marketplace solutions these are kind of your add-ons, right? A lot of these are ads you can run to generate new leads. We also have integrations with different solutions that you might be using. There are productivity tools, but everything that you find in the marketplace is deeply integrated with our system. They're vetted out, they're tested, and they're things that we know work. And then now let's talk about being connected. So this is, you get new leads. Now what do you do with them? We have to understand the consumer a little bit in order to really be effective here. So I know earlier I talked about 90% of consumers start their search online. That's true. We know it's true. 92% of transactions originate online. We also know pictures and details of homes are the #1 driver of lead engagement. So this is where your search alerts are really popular. This is where your website is great because your website is totally geared toward leads. We know that it has information out of the box that's really valuable that leads want and they're going to interact with. We know that leads like to hide behind the wall of the internet. I'm going to talk about this more in just a minute, but they don't really want to talk to agents, especially when they're early on in their search. And having your website with the right content on it is a great way to keep them engaged until they are ready to talk to you. There are essentially 4 demographics of consumer shopping today. I think that one's really important because it helps you understand that there's a reason smart campaigns work. There's a reason that having a mixture of different kinds of communication channels work. I mean, think about the baby boomer demographic, the way they like to be communicated to. They really like these more in-person actions, door knocking interactions. They like mailers. They like email. But if you look at, millennials, they probably are more into text messages. They probably really don't want to talk in person unless they have to or unless they're ready to. So that's just something to think about when you're working with demographics is the way you communicate matters. Neighborhood and school information is really important. This is really cool. I thought 72% of leads work with the first agent they talk to. And we know that they're looking for a personalized experience. You'll hear that a lot from me. The consumer timeline, this is really important when you're thinking about nurturing and connecting with leads. I hear agents often say like, oh, I've got some looky-loo leads, or these are bad leads because they aren't ready to transact right now. And the truth is, there's not really such a thing as bad lead unless it's bad information. If it's unusable information that you've gotten in the lead, that's a bad lead, okay? But if they're just not ready to talk or interact yet or transact yet, that doesn't mean they're a bad lead. What that means is that they're in phase 1. Phase 1 is this pre-research phase. They probably don't know they're a lead yet. They are real estate curious, but they haven't really decided if they want to buy or sell a home. They just started thinking, I wonder what the market is doing. I wonder what kind of homes are out there right now. And so it's just really, makes it hard for them to want to have a conversation with you because they don't really know what they don't know. They don't have questions yet. They're just actually looking. Just looking is a real phase. But if you knew that lead who said, I'm just looking, if you knew they were going to be ready to transact in a year, how would you treat them differently? Would you nurture them? Would you continue to send them information? Would you be kinder to them? So something to think about with phase 1 there. Phase 2, this is really what I think is the ideal phase because these are people who are ready and willing to talk to you. These are the people who have done a lot of research online. They've formed an opinion about what they want. They know what their price range is. They know what location they're looking in. They have an idea about their finances, if they're going to be able to get pre-approved or if they are approved already. And they're kind of entering this phase where they're not hiding behind the wall of the internet anymore. They are getting some more complex questions that they can't find the answers to themselves. And they are ready to ask questions to an expert. You're the expert. And you can also see, my middle phase here is you've got relevant content sort of to the left, and then you've got your value proposition to the right. The closer they get to phase 3, which is ready to transact, the more they are ready and willing to hear your value proposition. Up until that point, they don't really care about your expertise or how long you've been in real estate or what you know. They just only care about the content you have. And I won't spend too much time on phase 3 because you've all worked with somebody in phase 3. This means you're transacting. This is a really high touch, personal interaction kind of phase. And, you're doing buyer's agreements, you're doing showings, you're, putting the home up for sale, whatever it is. So you're all familiar with that part of the timeline. Okay, so when you get a new lead, what is your number one goal? I always hear things like, close the transaction or sign the agreement or get an appointment. And I'm sure you're thinking of something right now. What is your number one goal when you get a new lead? Build trust, build a relationship. And all of those are right. They're all things that you want out of the interaction. But really, in order to be effective, your number one goal when you get a new lead has to be to stop their search. Because if you don't, consumers are becoming a lead 8 to 10 times before they ever talk to an agent. And you remember our stat from before, 72% of leads work with the first agent they talk to. So if you are, agent number 10 that they've come in contact with, or agent number 5 that they've come in contact with, how are you going to prevent them from going to other people's sites and becoming a lead again? How are you going to make sure you're the first person they talk to? When you are committed to stopping the search, what that means is you want to either increase engagement with your website or with you. So you're either trying to get them to come back and look at content on your website so that they're searching your website for information. They're getting pictures and details of homes from your website. They're getting area information from your website, or they're having a conversation with you. That's how you eliminate the competition. That's how you stop the search. That's how you actually build a relationship with these people. And that's how you become the first agent they talk to. So I've got 4 strategies that can drive lead engagement. When you get a new lead, these are tools in the BoldTrail platform that you can use that we know work and we know add value to the consumer. And 3 of these 4 items are automated, which is amazing. So, search alerts, as long as the lead was captured in a way where they looked at a property prior to registering, search alerts will turn on automatically. The other thing I love about search alerts and market reports is that the users can manage these on their own. So when they register on your website and then they come back to visit again, they're actually logged into your website in a kind of user portal experience. So they can save properties. Every time they go to their website, it's tailored more and more to them and their behavior. The other thing that's great about this is the behaviors they engage with on your website get logged into the CRM. So when you're logging in, you can actually see what they're looking at, again, giving you the ability to tailor and personalize that experience. Also, if you're seeing activity increase a lot, or maybe they've gone dormant for a while and come back, you've got this behavioral automation piece that alerts you to high intent behaviors, and it allows you to reach out to people who are probably ready to talk right now. And then you've got the similar and nearby listings. And this is great too, because if you get people who maybe aren't really wanting to talk to you, this is a good way for you to provide information. So you go look at a listing that they registered on and then click the button that says similar or nearby listings. And just, you can select all, or you could click 5 of them and then hit send. And it sends this curated list of listings that you can say, hey, I saw you looked at this property. Here are a few more I thought you'd like, and I didn't want you to miss out on seeing them. They don't have to respond to you, but 9 times out of 10, they will engage and look at those similar properties. So these strategies are really effective. These are strategies that you can use to create compelling content. This is your, be involved kind of portion. This is how really you stay involved. It doesn't matter if they're in phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. We know that relevant content is a huge driver of lead engagement. So the secret to staying involved is, I probably have these flipped, but you have to have a path back to your website. You have to always be putting things in front of people, whether it's through email, on your social media, you're sending out mailers, whatever it is, you're advertising in a way that's going to get people to come back to your website so you can get that behavioral insight. And then you also need compelling content. And, everybody asks, what is compelling content? Well, it's different. Relevant content is different for every single consumer. What you are doing is just trying to get information in front of people. The things they interact with, keep sending them similar content. That's what's relevant to them. Nothing is more relevant and engaging than things they're already engaging with. So include a call to action that's going to get them back to your website. Make it easy to find, make it relevant, make it valuable. Here are a few ideas for relevant content. And in these top of funnel phase 1 leads, the thing that's really cool about this is that most of this information already exists on your BoldTrail website, like, area information, listings, pictures, details of homes. But there are some small things you could do to enhance that, like put educational content on there. I know beginner tips and guides. You've got like a buying guide, seller's guide, first-time home buyer's guide, things like that you can create using those custom pages. Just adding extra pieces like that you can send to people or post on your social media pages is huge in generating interest and getting more engagement with your website. Phase 2, this tends to get a little bit more specific when they're in this phase. And this is where you're getting all your FAQs from. When you're having conversations with people and they go, what does this look like? What about this? What do I need to do for this? How much time does this take? You can start generating content based off of the frequently asked questions you get and put that on your website or send that out in your newsletter, whatever it is, right? Testimonials and reviews are great because this is, like I said, where people start getting interested in your value prop and they want to see what other people's experience with you has been, just to validate that they've made the right choice. And bottom funnel, again, I hate to waste time on this because this is really, really specific. They do like hyperlocal content. They do like referrals to your network. And when I say your network, I mean your professional network. So if you have something like a vendor guide where you have somebody who you know is closing and you go, hey, do you need moving guys? I have a moving company that's awesome. I've had 5 clients use them before. They get raving reviews. So if you can become that go-to person where they need something they know they can go to answer their question, that is a huge bonus for you. And then the behavioral insights, I wanted to touch on this again because, these are the triggers. These are what we refer to as kind of the high intent behaviors that I was referring to before. This is where the behavioral automation I was talking about will alert you if a lead is exhibiting some of these behaviors. And the reason this is important is because this means they're interacting and engaging with your website or with you. They've asked you a question through the website. They've requested evaluation. They've revisited your website after not being on your website for over 2 weeks. They set up their own listing alert. That's a big indicator. If they look at the same property 5 times, maybe they're really interested in that property. So what's great about this, it's these triggers that you pay attention to. It also really gives you something to talk with them about when you call them or text them or whatever your communication is, right? And then these behaviorals, the behavioral data gets added into your account, so you can actually go and see, what properties they're interacting with most, and what kind of content is most relevant for your audience right now. And where you see this is on your dashboard. This is a picture of your dashboard, and on the bottom there, underneath the dashboard line, you can see these contact tiles, and it tells you what activity they engaged with. So that new lead came from the website, and if you actually go look into the contact record, it'll give you some more information. The one next to that asked a question on the website. The contact next to that looked at this property, and then they looked at another property, and somebody requested a market report. So you can actually see what they've engaged with. You can email, call, send a video, text them right from the tile. You can click on the name of the contact and it'll open up the contact record, and you can actually get this whole overview of everything they've ever done in your platform. So that's really cool. It also just makes it easy for you to apply automations with just a couple clicks and make sure that they're getting communication from you. So we have this, these keys to driving conversations. Conversations are key. This is probably the biggest topic I've been hearing since the beginning of the year in the real estate space. Historically, I think has been lead gen, but lead gen is not going to do any good to you unless you know how to follow up quickly and engage with those leads. You need to be driving more conversation with the leads that you're getting into your pipeline. So key number one, you've got to be adding leads into your funnel. We know that agents who add 40 or more leads per month sell 5 times the number of transactions than agents who are adding 10 or less leads per month. We know that agents who are logging in 20 times per month, 20 or more, so that's pretty much every business day. If you're logging in every day, you're doing 9 times the transactions than agents who are only logging in once a week or less, which makes sense, because if you're only logging in once a week, you're missing a ton of behavioral insight. You're not getting that speed to lead. You're missing out on opportunities to follow up quickly. And then agents who engage their leads with multi-touch alerts or smart campaigns are doing 3 times the number of transactions than agents who have 10% or less of their contacts on automation. That makes a huge difference when you think about it like that. The tools in your platform and just logging in to BoldTrail once a day increases your productivity by that much. And this is data that we see and collect from the agents who use our platform. On top of all that, we also have Bold Academy and we have BoldTrail Training that is going to help you really get started with the platform. You've got just kind of out of the box training. How does this tool work? What does it do? And with Bold Academy, it's our in-house coaching program, giving you access to more coaching content and tools that are going to help you maximize your lead generation and your investments. There's a focus on business planning, implementation, accountability, and you get to mastermind with top producers and coaches. We teach you different strategies and how to implement the strategies that we know work. And there's a mixture of content so you can find the information you like and learn the way you want to. We've got live webinar sessions, on-demand courses. We've got short form videos, long form videos. There's downloadable tools and worksheets. And we actually have a really awesome community of agents and brokers who are super motivated and very engaged and helpful. So Bold Academy, BoldTrail. Let's talk about some of the things we've got coming out as we wrap up. We've got this home search AI. As I said earlier, AI is becoming a huge player in the space, and we've seen firsthand how it can empower agents. Home search AI really challenges everything that we thought AI could be It delivers more personalized results, and it uses natural feeling language to your contacts that keeps them coming back to you instead of the bigger portals. You'll also receive a weekly snapshot that tells you how your database is working for you. This is where I'm talking about the insights and trends that you get. This is going to tell you you've got this many contacts who need to be on a search alert. You need to re-engage a certain number of contacts. You've got this many emails opened. Really, it just tells you kind of what's working for you and what you need to go do and put effort into. It really takes the guesswork out. And that's kind of a big theme with a lot of these enhancements is we want you to stop guessing what you need to do that's going to have an impact on your business. And we're making it as cut and dried as possible. The enhanced mobile app is really exciting. With the AI voice transcription, it's going to turn your conversations into action. So it's going to be able to listen, learn, and act based on your conversations. It'll be able to do things like set up a search alert for you. It can assign a follow-up task for you, and it'll even capture key client details and notes from conversations you have. So basically, you speak and the app is going to handle the rest. Vitals is another awesome tool. It's going to give you true insight into your personal productivity and lead engagement. And with these little tiles at the beginning of the screen, you can kind of see it gives you a number of activities that you need to do. So you've got these leads that need attention, and here's what you need to do. And you're also going to get a score that lets you know how you stack up and how your performance is rated, essentially. Folio, the Folio integration is great. It's going to get you more organized than you probably ever thought you could be. It acts like an email assistant. It's going to be able to pick up automatically on timelines and documents and next steps without you having to go through your email and sort through all the content. It's kind of like having a transaction coordinator that lives in your email. Deals, this is something I'm very excited for. This is, basically this captures your full pipeline journey from every stage, from the moment the lead is captured to when it closes, so you can manage your pipeline more effectively. And you're also going to get this conversion reporting, which I think is the bee's knees. But basically, what this is doing is capturing these indicators that we see based off of your performance. So this is going to tell you what your true conversion rate is. How many conversations do you need to have personally in order to get appointments? How many appointments do you need to get a client? How many clients do you need to get somebody under contract and closed? And it's, like I said, based off of your performance specifically. And then you get this percentage here that you can use to actually do some really effective business planning and reverse engineer the number of leads you need to generate for the year. So again, same idea, no more guessing. We just want to let you know how you're doing, and based on your performance, coach you on what you need to do to hit your goals. So that's going to wrap us up for all the innovation, all the new things coming out. But I'll end with this. Our mission is to innovate toward real customer outcomes. We're committed to being a reliable tech partner. We're committed to providing the support and training resources you need to scale your business. And we are committed to deliver on this vision of innovation that's going to continue to help you grow. Thank you so much for joining today. BoldTrail is your CRM of choice. I just wanted to let you know you've all been seamlessly migrated to BoldTrail, so you don't really need to do anything here. But log in and take advantage of the end-to-end ecosystem. And go give it a test run, go try out the new things we talked about, and be better on BoldTrail.